Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos.
Here we go, yeah. At the top of the class on a roll, hey. And it's time to run it up, yeah, you know, yeah. Maxed out, put the pedal to the floor, yeah. On a roll, here we go, here we go.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Frankie Candles live stream every single weekday right here at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ, but also shout out to my boy Tino from Traders Reality, guys. I see you guys in here. We already got 780 people concurrently viewing this live stream. I have a feeling a lot of those are Traders Realities people, so shout out to you guys. And shout out, of course, to the CandleMafia guys. We have a very special show for you tonight. Hopefully, I'm not blowing out your eardrums. It does look like my levels are a little bit hot here. Let me go ahead and lower those. Mods, if you could let me know if I am a little hot on the mic right now. I know I talk loud, but we don't want to break the speakers. But what is going on, guys? Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate every single one of you guys for being here tonight on this Wednesday night. Smash that like button if you guys want to spin the Wheel of Pain and Pleasure at the end of the stream. The Wheel of Pain and Pleasure is just this thing that we spin every single day that we live stream, which is every weekday at 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, where basically we just spin a wheel and 9 out of 10 times you guys get a giveaway. And then on Fridays, we always do the weekly giveaway, and multiple people win bags of crypto. Usually it's Algorand, sometimes it's ADA, sometimes it's XRP. We let the community decide. And then sometimes, guys, we give away some of this fresh Frankie Candles merch. And this week, guys, on Friday, we may, if we can hit 1,250 likes on tonight's live stream, I will be giving away 1 free month of our premium Discord. So if you're interested in that, smash that like button. And we'll also be giving away a bunch of, we're giving away the free month of Discord as an extra, right? Then we'll also be giving away the crypto. So shout out to everybody here. Don't forget to smash that like button. And before we go ahead and jump in and bring on Tino, I just want to say what's up to the CandleMafia and the Traders Reality community, because I see you guys in here. Let's see who we got in here. Shout out to Bison9. What is going on, bro? We got Jessica in the chat, our resident CandleMafia female representative. Shout out to Jessica. We got G-Life in the chat. Thesis himself. What is going on, bro? We were talking about you in the office earlier today. J Ammo, what's going on? Tiger, it's all Tsuki. What is going on? Says Pattern Watchers. Represent. Let's go. Shout out to the Pattern Watchers. Shout out to Kelly Kellum from the BitLab Academy, guys. Go check out Kelly on the BitLab Academy YouTube channel. He's the man. He's got a bunch of good content as well. Bubba's Crypto, Cozy Babe. We got Helen, Kryptonian1. What is going on? Repping the ATB. Shout out to Chemistry Bro. What is going on, bro? Shout out to Brad. Shout out to Gavin. And let's just get a few more people in here before we jump right into it. Who else we got? It's all Suki. We said hi to you. 420 Bud Monster. What is going on, bro? Mr. Feather. What is up? Sakun, Metabytes, and Art, John Davis, J Ammo, Henry, Max B, Adam, and JJ. What is going on? Shout out to Tony D for gifting those 5 Frankie Candles memberships. Shout out to Dave Digital. I see those emojis. Shout out to you, bro. Tino's people probably in here like, why they spamming a calf emoji? What's up with this guy? This guy's a weirdo. But guys, like I said, we have a super special show tonight. We got Tino from Traders Reality in the house. So without further ado, guys, I'm gonna throw on these headphones because we don't want to leave him waiting for too long. So let me go ahead and pop on these headphones and let's go ahead and welcome Tino from Traders Reality. Tino, what is going on, bro? How you doing today?
What's good, bro? What is good? It's a pleasure to be here, man. First collaboration. Man, we've got so many collaborations lined up, and I don't actually ever get them done, but you reached out, man, and had to have a conversation with you, bro. So thank you for having me. CandleMafia, what is good? Pattern Watchers, you guys better be checking in, showing some love to my guy, Candles. Frankie Candles, sorry. Man, am I nervous? Do I look like I'm nervous? Do I feel, I mean, I'm kind of nervous right now. Am I going to get this right? Who knows? We're both boomers anyway. So what's good, bro? Thank you for having me, man.
Of course, brother. And you know, it's so funny when you came into our live stream the other day and you super chatted from like another account and then you put, sorry, boomer moment. And I was like, dude, I don't think we could be any more alike, man.
Bro, look, man, I was like, Mr. Dutch said to me, look, Frankie's online. I was like, okay, let me go check out my guy. So I see the chat going crazy. Everyone's like spamming the chat. I'm like, let me send a tip to my guy. And I'm like quickly doing it. Something was wrong with the card. It wouldn't register. And I was like, why is it not working? And then in the end, I managed to do it. And it came up as TRS. I was like, who's that? And then I realized that it was not from my main account. So, yeah. And then I sent you another 50 on top to say, yeah, man, I messed up on that one. So, yeah, that's pretty much 2 boomers, man. But I don't do it intentionally. I try and look like I know what I'm doing, but...
Me too.
I don't know,
and it's
man.
funny because we just had trouble with our super chats over on your end too. So it's literally just 1 for 1. But
it's
Tino,
good, bro.
Thank you so much for being here. I know the CandleMafia is super excited to hear what you have to say. I know you have the hybrid system, which I am interested in learning about. But you know, just to kick things off, I know a lot of people in my chat and my community already know who you are. But for those who may not know, just give us a little, like, what's the origin story of Traders Reality? How did you get here? Just let the people know. And where can they find you?
Okay, so you can find me at tradersreality.com. That's where the madness is. Well, actually, the YouTube live sessions in the New York, that is where you'll find me 90% of the time. We actually just restarted those, but that's where it all began. But let's jump back. So I was in my kitchen, and I was like, let me try out this YouTube live story. And I just brought a new laptop, and this is how the channel started. And I was waiting for a cup of tea to brew. So I just went go live because I was breaking down the charts. Now I've been in the game of trading for about 15 years. You know, my journey started back then when I was at home playing on Tony Hawk's on the PlayStation, and mother comes along and says to me, you know, well, it's actually longer than that, but she says to me, do you want to learn how to make money? I was like, yeah, man, let's roll with it. I'm getting bored of Tony Hawk's. She goes, read this book. So what's this book? And it says, How to Make Money in Stocks. And that's when I first came into the game. Now, that's when it turned to madness because then I was hooked. I was all eager to try and work out how to buy stocks. But we'll get back to that story in a second. Going back to the way the YouTube channel started, I used the YouTube channel as a way to just document my journey. It started off as like a mini podcast. And I was just talking to myself. I was chatting away. And then I started to go live and I was breaking down the charts, getting my day ready for the next trading session. And people started joining the live. I didn't expect like 500 people to join my live on the first night. I was like, bro, there's something wrong here. Like, why are so many people listening to me talk about these charts? And then one guy said, bro, check out Bitcoin. I know what cryptocurrency is. Let's have a look at cryptocurrency, because I predominantly trade Forex. So that's where my work is. That's where my heart is at. And then I pulled up Bitcoin, and then more people started to come into his life. Now I'm waiting for this cup of tea to brew. All right. And then after all that time, I was on the live stream for about 3 hours. I missed out on my cup of tea, man. I had to restart it again. But boy, straight after that, I was getting comments on the video saying, yo, will you go live again? And I was like, I think I need to go live again. And then from then, that's where the pattern watches came about. That's when the hybrid system came about, where we brought this system to life. You know, I mean, I've been staring at charts for a long time. I have become a recluse. I don't go nowhere. Well, that was during my primitive time of learning the game. And that's usually what you have to do when you want to master your craft. You know, I switched off. Yeah, you know, I was invited to dinner parties by the family. I was like, nah, there's something wrong with my leg. Or I'll go to a wedding for a relative. I was like, nah, bro, I know you're going to split up with her later on anyway, so why am I going to waste my money? So it was one of those kind of stories. I was committed 100 into the game of trading. I needed to understand it, but I will say this. I found that you can put any system to work, but unless you understand what's going on between this madness right here, you know, I say it all the time in the lives, bro. Give someone a system that guarantees 100% win rate and give it to another guy. One comes back with a successful win rate of 100%. The other comes back with a successful loss rate of 100%. Who do you blame? Do you blame the system? Nah, man, it's all the mindset, bro. That's how it is.
Absolutely.
So that's that story there. I need to get back to the other story. Yeah, the Tony Hawk one. Carry on. Give me your next question, bro.
I love it, man. And listen, I could not agree with you more with what you just said. I was actually talking on my live stream last night. I mentioned this because we have a premium Discord, but I don't do direct signals. What I do is I spoon feed trade setups. I tell people, hey, if price comes here, this is exactly what we're looking for. We're looking for these confirmations, and that's where we take the trade. But the reason I don't do signals is for that exact reason that you just said. You could have, I said this exact example, again, super weird that you even said this. You can have 100% system that you know 100% if it's going up or down, and you split that between two traders, and you're going to get two different results. And I think that's really important that you said that. But I do want to get a little bit into, obviously, we're at a really interesting point in the market, right? I know a lot of people think the bottom's in. We also have a lot of people who think lower lows are incoming. And then we got this big pump up, and now a lot more people think the bottom's in. Where do you kind of stand? Do you think the bottom's in? Do you think we're going lower? And then if you want to show some charts, what are you looking at on the charts? We'd love to hear it.
Okay. So do you want the numerical bottom or do you want the chart breakdown bottom? Which one do you want?
Let's do the chart breakdown bottom. I like the charts.
You know where I'm going with that. All right, then cool. Check this one out. All right. So let's break it over here then. So can you see the chart clear? Give me a hey, chat. Pattern watchers, are we good? CandleMafia. All right, then cool. So look, if we're going to start talking about the market bottom in principle, all right, 1 hour time frame is nothing to us. It's useless. All right. We have to go to the daily. Now, the daily itself, now we've got all of this idea. Let me just clear this up first so that you guys understand the logic of what I'm trying to say here. And then we'll bring the hybrid system into it in a second.
Beautiful.
We're in a bearish market. I hate saying bearish market. It's a markdown phase, because all we have to do is zoom back out and see that we are coming back down to where we previously moved from. Okay. Now, with that being said, you can see that we've had this little move up, which is consistent with a belief system that price is going to continue higher. You see, Bitcoin is probably one of the most psychological, impressionable assets out there, because people always have an opinion on where they think it needs to go. Go and ask how many people think that the NASDAQ needs to be above 13K or needs to be below 12K or 6K. It's not as impressionable as Bitcoin. Look at the glass node. You get the glass node showing you the net unrealized profit and losses that I mentioned in the stream earlier on this evening, and where people's minds are at. Right now, people are becoming fearful at Bitcoin's price action. So we look at this and we think, okay, is the bottom in? It took Bitcoin to bottom out from, 15K All right. This little zone right here was all Bitcoin needed to bottom out. So then we look at what happened over here and we start saying, okay, so how can we justify Bitcoin and the bottom is in right now? Well, in my opinion, unless we start seeing a progressive move up, and we see nice smooth moves like this. You see this? This is consistent with a bullish market because this is what you would call the early adopters as such, the guys who were getting in on Bitcoin on the knowledge they were going to anticipate it to go even higher. So this is the early bird, okay? Then you get the guys who managed to find out about Bitcoin and start seeing the promise. They get in on this one, which is why you see a retrace continuation back up. Then you get the retail trader who woke up in the morning, got a notification off crypto.com saying that Bitcoin has just hit $64,000 a coin. And he's like, yo, it's going to 100K. Checked it out on YouTube because that's where the financial information is at. And then, of course, we go to Twitter where it's a little bit more prestigious. Is it? And then we come to the buy purchase and we say, yep, let's go long on Bitcoin. Bitcoin then drops all the way down to 30 and makes the way towards that 67 zone and then collapses from that point. In other words, it's an emotional coin. So going into the logic of the bottom. Well, I'll go and give you my numerical point about Bitcoin's bottom right now. So that's where we bring the hybrid system. And I said this a little while ago and got a lot of heat from it. A lot of heat. So I've made the projection that I believe Bitcoin's going to land at around 8K. Here's my story for Bitcoin at that point. I'm basing it on the utility of the hybrid system. Now, if you go back in my live streams, which 90% of you won't, I pulled up the monthly chart, suggested that Bitcoin will come back down towards these vector points around the 20 zone, okay? But this was when Bitcoin was all the way up at 54. And this is what I wanted to convey about the logic of the hybrid system, which says that they'll come back to the last points that they grabbed interest from. Right now, you can see this vector candle zone right here. If I zoom in, a vector candle is, in principle, a candle which is encouraged by the market maker to get people committed in the chart. What makes you buy Bitcoin? Okay, you can put 101 indicators on your chart, but this candlestick right here, when it closes, it gets enough people to believe it's going up. That's the market maker's job. Because the rule of thumb is this: you can't buy when no one sells and you can't sell when no one buys. I don't want to have to bring the green jumper story to you yet. That'll be for another time. But my logic is that I expect Bitcoin to reach down towards the 8K zone to fully take back the vector candle, which you've got one here at 12K, okay? And then you have one all the way down here at 8K. I've got my little alert right there. But I'm saying that on the basis of the hybrid system because beyond that, there isn't any other vector candles that are impressionable to me. I'm not interested in a vector candle at 2 cents, okay? It's not even visible on the chart. I'm looking at the impressionable ones where the move last started. So if you're going to get Bitcoin to a point where it's going to make another move even higher and more aggressive, you want to send it back into the same spot that people got aggressive about it. And that's where that zone comes into play. I might be wrong. Hopefully, Bitcoin doesn't go any lower than what it is right now. But if Bitcoin's going to follow the S&P and it's going to be impressionable on what happened with Silvergate, and then we've got all this madness with inflation and all the data that's coming out. And when Jerome Powell speaks, Bitcoin moves. Come on, man. Bitcoin hasn't got to move when Powell speaks. Bitcoin should be like, who's this Brer? Who is he? We don't care about that. That's not what Bitcoin stands for. And this is where people get kind of trapped up. They think that Bitcoin's going to do its own thing. You follow the dominance of the dollar, then you'll start to understand why Bitcoin isn't doing its own thing because you exchange dollars for Bitcoin. And as long as you keep exchanging dollars for Bitcoin, and when that relationship continues and we see that happening, then that is where Bitcoin will keep moving up. But if the dollar itself is impressionable on all assets across the board, that means people are running for safety. So that's my story on where I think Bitcoin's bottom will be. Don't shoot the messenger. I was told by Steve about the 8K. That's all I'm saying. So yeah, that's the story right there. Sorry.
Absolutely, man. I think, I think a lot of people get super, super caught up in, if the bottom's in, if the bottom's not in, and then, someone calls for a super low number or a number that's a lot higher than a lot of other people think of, and everyone just gets all this flack, right? We get this little pump up, we come up to, the 25 and change level, and it's just like people are like, that's it, the bottom's in 100%. And I was kind of cautioning people on my live stream, like, We want to remember we are still technically in a bear market. Obviously, that is going to decide on what you use to determine if you're in a bear market or not. But, we were looking at this as potentially being a bear market rally. We do have some key levels that if we can hold, I do think we can continue higher. But judging by just the chat, it seems like we are dumping a little bit here. So we're probably pretty close to those levels. So I definitely do think that there's a decent chance the bottom's in, but 100% not naive to the fact that we could easily come down to make some lower lows. I think a lot of people are trying to, I get this all the time. Who's going to sell? Well, in my head, all we need is a black swan. If there is something that you think will get us down there, is there anything in the news or any kind of event that you're looking for that you think could bring us down there, or are you just looking at the technicals?
Okay, so you can't. Before I started talking about the dominance of the dollar, you see, remember, Bitcoin was moving up nonstop. I mean, if anyone remember Ethereum, it just flew and rode that 5 and 13 EMA nonstop. We were like, wait for the retrace, wait for the retrace. That thing did not retrace. It just continuously kept moving up, all right? And that's what crypto was doing. There was this hype about it, all right? Then I started, of course, I trade euro, trade dollar, yen. And of course, it hit me, and I was like, okay, so you exchange dollars for Bitcoin. Let me just pull up the dominance of the dollar. I matched it up, and I was like, it's starting to move in line with this. This goes up, and that goes down. Then we have this story of macros, because we're not in a trending market. Yes, we are trending down, but every move that happens is going to be welcomed by a news announcement that's going to send Bitcoin up, all right? Is a news announcement that will send it down. We've got 2 more major events coming into the charts over the next 11 trading sessions. And that's going to pretty much determine if Bitcoin's going to hold out. If Bitcoin comes down and tests the 16 and holds and moves away from it, then I would be more confident in saying, yeah, maybe this could be the bottom. But we've had this Silvergate news that's come out that they're liquidating and they're starting to shut up shop. Well, that should really not have any impact on Bitcoin. But when the fear gets put into the trader's eyes or the investor, he's going to think, wow, I better get rid of my crypto. Then you had that $1 billion that has been seized. Like, when's that going to get offloaded? Because the US government ain't going to sit tight holding crypto or Bitcoin itself. It's trying to regulate it. So they're not going to really do the right thing by holding onto it. But a lot of people, for me, I don't care where Bitcoin goes. That's the truth. Because I don't focus on value. I try and find movement. As a day trader, all I'm interested in is movement. Now, I expect movement at certain times of the day. The New York Open, Asia, if they get any news, because only this time last week, we had that news about Silvergate, and then Asia decides to drop everything 5% down from Bitcoin on Bitcoin. So we've had that same information rolled out today. Could that be the case? And I'm not saying Bitcoin is going to drop 5%. But that's the thing. It's the news that comes out that makes people think, oh, Bitcoin could end up going lower. I don't mind buying it at 18. Is Bitcoin, and I asked the chat, do you think Bitcoin is cheaper? Could Bitcoin be cheaper? Would you be more comfortable buying it now? Because that's the question. People think the bottom is in, but they're not behaving like the bottom is in, because I don't see Bitcoin going up. That's the logic. And when you've got Bitcoin reacting to Powell and the yields themselves, the 2-year yield, the 10-year yield, you're going to sit there and think, hold on a second, Bitcoin shouldn't be impressionable on what the NASDAQ does or the S&P, but Bitcoin is in principle. I don't know if people like to hear it, but is it a commodity? Well, there is a supply. And if gold's going down, we know that relationship. If Bitcoin's got a positive correlation to the S&P, so when gold goes up, Bitcoin principally should be going up, but Bitcoin wasn't going up as good as what gold has been going up. Now you see gold, and all those traders are now hedging out those positions, getting ready for the next exposure. How long that drop is, who knows? But like I said, try and become more aware of where you think the average trader is going to see value at. And quite frankly, do the opposite. Because if there's everyone thinking, yeah, Bitcoin bottom is in, perfect time to drop it. That's my opinion.
Absolutely.
I could be wrong.
And hey, that's the thing too, is I tell people that all the time. Like, listen, guys, like, I know we get it right a lot of the time, but like I'm wrong a lot too. So,
Oh
nobody
yeah, I'll
knows
say I'm wrong.
100%.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
the day I put out like Bitcoin 8K, Bitcoin goes to 20K, and then everyone was like, "Yeah, Tino, when 8K Bitcoin." I
Yeah.
was like, but I did say, look, man, it's not going to happen overnight. But given with Bitcoin, you just don't know. But I
Mhm.
just gave out the view, and if it doesn't hit 8K, it's a sad story if it doesn't hit 8K because then Bitcoin isn't cheap enough to be picked up on. you
Right.
know? Because right now, Bitcoin needs to be cheaper for people to grab it,
Mhm.
you know? That's what I
Absolutely.
think.
I'm definitely, I tell people all the time, I think in this bear market, I've turned into a complete perma bear. Because although, like I said, I do think that there is a decent chance the bottom's in. Obviously, open to the idea that we could easily make another move down with some kind of black swan event, which we do, in
Yeah,
my opinion, have some interesting stuff looming that could cause that black swan. But yeah, I always caution people, listen, if you're watching someone on YouTube and they're telling you they 100% know where the price is going and they never admit when they're wrong, run as fast as you can.
oh, of course. Look, I can be wrong all the time,
Right.
because
Yeah.
even the hybrid system itself, you can at least get yourself you can see the success of the hybrid system. I'm going to be conservative and say about 80% of the time, all right, you're going to see price going back to the vector candle, all right, depending on the time frame you trade it. Now, if I say Bitcoin's going to go down to 10K and there's a vector candle down there, well, I look at the price now, it's 21 and a half, for example.
Mhm.
It's going to take a long time for Bitcoin to go down there, all right?
Yep.
But when you if you can admit that you are wrong, I'll gladly admit that I'm wrong. And I
Right.
hope Bitcoin does and doesn't go to 8K because that could be a catastrophic event for crypto, but it's still $8,000. I take you back to the idea of value. This is why people don't think it could ever go any lower than 16 or any lower than 10 because people have got the idea of value in their mind that Bitcoin can't go there. We
Hmm.
just look at Silvergate. It was $230 stock. All right. And that had like 190, I believe it was about 50, $60 billion worth of market cap in that stock, if I'm correct. And then that just slumps down to like 12, 15 million. And now they're liquidated. And that's now trading at $4. If anything, it's
Yep.
halted trading right now. So back to what you said about the black swan. Well, look, the black swan is pending, in my opinion, because it's all stacking up.
Yeah.
You've got the interest rates. We don't know where we are in the interest rates. And if in the FOMC meeting next week, in a couple of weeks, sorry, if they do say anything about a terminal rate, Bitcoin's going to shoot up, but it will be all on inflation. That's the thing. If inflation is coming down in the next reading, Bitcoin will shoot up. And then that would solidify people's idea that if inflation can go down, the bottom is in. And then the markets are going to be okay. But then you've got 6% interest rates. And that's going to be reflected in assets across the board. So quite frankly, again, go back to the idea of momentum and movement. Make a decision. Are you a value-based trader or are you a movement trader? Do you just want movement? Can you trade big? Let me ask you, can you trade Bitcoin without looking at the price? Could you ever remove the price? Would you need to know the price? Other than the key price points like 22,000, 23,000, would you need the price on the chart?
If you could see the candles,
Yeah.
probably
Would
not.
you be able to trade it without the price on the right side?
Yeah, probably.
You see? So then if you do see price, you have people that will say, look, man, I don't think Bitcoin could go down to 20K. And you know that 20K, that psychological 20K, wait till it hits that point and Coinbase contacts you, Binance messages you, Bybit will message you, crypto.com will message you, and they'll say Bitcoin at the key psychological zone. Is that an advert to buy or is it an advert to sell? That's what I mean. It's a very impressionable asset and it's gone down and hit the 21,500, ladies and gentlemen. Happy days. Nice little move by Bitcoin. But yeah,
There we
I'm
go.
continuously at the charts, bro, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
I got
always
him
looking
off
at
to my
Bitcoin.
left as well.
I will always be babysitting this thing.
Absolutely. It's it's funny too because you say I kind of feel like we cheat in this game, right? Because we're traders, and like you said, we need movement. You don't even need the price on the side of the chart. You just need the candles to go up and down. You get that movement, you get that volatility. We can make money, and it's like, obviously at our office we have tons of crypto people, and they're always like mad that it went down or mad that it went up, and I'm just like, hey, man, I'm just riding whatever. As long as it gives me that movement, I'm good. Sure, if we dump, my long-term bags are, going down a little bit, but I'm just going to buy more and short it. So
this is the truth, though. It's sorry to cut you, bro, but
No,
you
you're
said
good.
something really important there, man. Yeah, we are cheating in essence because as traders, we can manipulate the time we have to go into a trade. Oh, I see Bitcoin dropping. Right. Okay. I'm going to try and short it. That way I offset. Happy days. Okay. And that's the problem with cryptocurrency. It's all because of the so much hype with it. People get married to the bag. All right. They get married to value. They look at their investment and they think, and that's the sad truth. You got people that are holders that may not be traders. They may not have the luxury to trade. They might not have the time. They might not even have the resources. They've got the capital, but they might not be able to just sit down and say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and study the charts, even a simple moving average crossover. They'll be like, what is a moving average? I have no idea. So they're already at a default. That's why people will rely on value, because they'll look to certain price points and say, yeah, 20K, man. As long as it stays above 20K, I'm all right, man. My equity's a bit down. And that's my goal in the channel. When I break down the charts and start screaming all sorts of stuff, it can be a little bit tiresome and listen to. But if you listen to what I'm saying, I'm only saying out loud what you're thinking in your mind when you're browsing through charts, when you're pulling up your lines and you're looking at the book map, you're looking at exo charts and you're looking at whatever market cipher and what have you. So for me, I'm just like, if I can tell them what I'm thinking on my mind, someone's going to take that bit of information and they're going to go make a killing on it. A guy messaged me yesterday and he was like, bro, on that first green vector candle strategy in your live stream yesterday, I flipped my account and made 15K. So I was like, happy days. And that's not the first time, bro, man. Back in the days when we were doing these long live streams, people were like Snapchatting pictures and showing us like the money they were making in the live streams from just reading the chart, because that's what everyone is doing. And I think I agree. Some people are at a disadvantage when we're like, yeah, baby, Bitcoin short, tank, happy days and all that. And then you got the same guy sat there thinking, bro, man, I've got like 30 Bitcoin and I'm losing money and my wife's going to slap me up and I'm sleeping not in the doghouse. I'm sharing it with the pigs at the farm. It's one of those it's one of those stories right there, man. So you've got to be considerate to it, which is why I do give the upside and the downside, because Bitcoin is an emotional asset.
That's right. She does whatever she wants. That's why I always try to give. Yeah. On my live stream, I always like to give the bull case, the bear case, and then if I am leaning heavily in a specific direction, I will kind of say that, like, guys, listen, because of all this stuff, I'm leaning super bearish or super bullish, but understand there is still the opposite case. And if the opposite case plays out, this is what we're looking at. But I do want to shift gears just a little bit. I see some of these questions coming in. But the first question I want to ask is actually kind of from me. I kind of ask everybody this question when they come on the show. Now, me personally, we actually talked a little bit about this briefly off camera. But for me, I'm a very, very heavily technical trader, right? I do keep up with the news. Again, I have a lot of people in crypto around our office, so I'm just inevitably always surrounded by the news. But I would say I'm like 88 to 90% technicals. Most of the time when I'm in a trade, it's based off of almost all technicals. And if some kind of news event happens, someone tells me, oh, did you see Bitcoin is dumping, or Bitcoin's dumping, this, and that happened. And I'm like, I shorted a technical signal, but hey, it all winds up lining up. So, with the hybrid system, obviously you've been doing this for 15 years. If you had to put, a percentage on it, like, are you mostly a technical trader, or are there other things that you keep a heavy eye on?
This system can be as technical as you want it to be, but you will find that 90% of the discussions that happen in the Traders Reality Discord, it's all about the psychology of it. Because I can guarantee price is going to cross over the 50 EMA. I can guarantee it will cross over and go above, or cross down and go under. You'll see a green vector candle go up above the 50 EMA, and you'll see a red vector candle go down into the 50 EMA. Whether it continues lower or not, it's a different story. So I can guarantee technically that the system itself gives you everything that you need. But when it comes to putting your mind to it, that's when you start thinking, okay, can I behave like a robot and cut emotions? No, you can't, because you will always have a feeling. Okay. Trading in principle has to be boring for you so that you don't get emotional. So when you win money, you're exactly the same way as you are when you lose money. It's just another day at the office. Okay. But it's a hybrid system. You know, if you're a scalper on the 1 minute time frame, you don't need to care about news because you're scalping very small zones and you're looking for quick profits, where as a scalper, you wouldn't be in the news trade. Like, you try and stay away from that because you're putting down lot sizes that could expose your account on one word that Powell says or any data that gets leaked by anyone. Okay. But to say I'm a fully technical trader, I'll look at a candlestick and ask the question, why are the market makers moving price higher? What's the psychology of the retail trader? Because quite frankly, if you start your charts up, Frankie, and if there are no buys and no sells, you won't have a candlestick. So you can't make a decision, right? So that's where I look at the chart and say, I've got candlesticks. I see one moving right now. Who's buying? Who's selling? That takes me away from the technical side, because sometimes you can be married to the technicals. All right. And when someone's trying to learn a technical system, we can't make the mistake of thinking that trading is simply just buy and sell. I know they did that test with the stocks and they had loads of monkeys and just getting them to throw darts and whatnot, you know? But we can't be naive into thinking that trading is exclusively mechanical. All right. Now, if you've been trading for years and you've got your own way of trading, cool, you can be mechanical in that aspect. But everyone's a master of their own craft. And that's the problem. People try and become the master the day they became the student. All right. I'm no master, no chance. I'm still learning my craft, and I will always be that. Master is when you stop trading, full stop. And that is it. You're done. And that's when I die. Okay. I would like to be remembered. That was the guy that would shout at the charts and project price. And most of the time he would get it correct, because no one in the game gets it correct all of the time. It's not it's a zero-sum game. And if you can guarantee to me when someone is most definitely going to lose against your position, you've cracked the market, bro. You know?
Absolutely.
So I'm more of a psychological based trader, because that's what you've got to focus on, because the system will do the system. If you show me your system, I'll be able to apply it from a technical point of view. But in the back of my mind, I will always be asking, who's buying? Why do you think that's a buy? Who's selling? See what I mean? So it's not no definitive answer. And that doesn't mean that you all have to be like that. Technical traders are killing it. There's no, no disrespect to them. But this is how I trade, because I sat and looked at the charts long enough to ask the question, why did it go up? Surely it's not going up because people are buying. There's something more to it. Why does it go back to that point? And that's where I came with the idea of it always getting emotional and messed up, where I'm like in a trade and I needed to park that, man, because you always get it. You'll buy and then your stop gets hit and then it goes in your favor. Are you a genius, or are you, do you know what I mean? It's like, how are you? Yeah, I ain't gonna even get into it, man. It's one of those ones.
It's like, as somebody watching my account, I know that's a common comment that I get. It's like people, someone who just keeps getting caught up in a losing streak. They're like, I feel like somebody's watching my account and just dumping on me every single time I get into a trade. But I think you said, it is really important. I said this the other day. I actually put out a pre-recorded video this afternoon. And, I was talking about settings on one of the indicators that we use. And I at the end of the video, I said something, probably the most important part of the video is like, guys, these are the best settings for this indicator that I have found. These are the best settings for me. So I'm sharing it with you guys. Check it out, try it. But if you try out these settings and you're like, this does not work for me, you're looking at, too much of this. I don't pay too much attention to that. So I do like to harp on, you have to do what's right for you, right? Just because you see someone on YouTube doing one thing, or you see this guy making trades based off of price action, this guy's using an indicator, this guy just trades the news. I think you're right. I think people like to just try to copied exactly what somebody's doing, where you just made the point as if you took my system, you'd be able to learn that system, but then also apply kind of the psychology thinking that you put behind your trading, which again, is just individual to each trader. And I think it's really important for people to realize, because I think people start to feel like they're doing something wrong if they're not doing exactly what other people are doing. So I definitely think that's important.
That for me, it's, look, the hybrid system, I can do signals if I really want to, okay? But if I stop doing signals, what happens to the guys that have been paying for signals, that are used to the signals and the way of trading, all right? So the hybrid system for me is getting people to understand it for themselves.
Exactly.
Understand it yourself. You're going to be doing your own signals. And it really is a game of repetition. It's practice. You know, with whatever system, simple moving average, just practice it, practice it, practice it. And going back to what you said, you know, the best settings, like no one will apply the hybrid system the way I apply it. Because there's no one else called Tino. No one will apply your system because there's no one else called Frankie.
Yep.
Now I can show you, and you can show people how the system behaves at certain points.
Yeah.
And those are the templates. And look, Dan Pena said it. There is no algorithm for experience. It's done. You can't take experience and put it into an algorithm and then bang, there you go, bruv, go and trade, happy days, off you go.
Yep.
But people want the shortcut.
Yeah.
You just need to make sure that, or try and have an awareness of making sure you're aware what not to do. Okay. And that's what traders need to really get. They need to get the, what shouldn't I do? What should I be doing? Because everyone's focusing on the end goal. They want the dollar. All right. Second, you start focusing on money when you're learning how to trade, you will be the cash machine for the CandleMafia and the Frankie and the pattern watchers as well, or to all the other traders. Jokes aside, you put money in your name, it's not going to work. That's why I say, you know, execution is critical. And this is what we do in the Patreon of Traders Reality as well. I'm all about execution. Give me the best accurate trade, because people want the perfect entry because they believe you can't lose. You know,
absolutely.
I lose on trades. Everyone loses on trades, you know, but people come into trading with the logic and think that there is a possibility that you can never lose. Nah, man. There's only one trader that has never been down, and his name is Ed Sakatoa, all right? And he's one of the old school traders, one of the market wizards. And he's never had a down month in the last 15, 20, 30 years. Bro, a down month. That's 30 days in a 20, 30 year period. But people will say, look, I was down today. I'm a shit trader. Sorry, man. I'm done. I'm down today. That's it. And then they lose their heads because they want the shortcut. They want to get in quick. That's why being a scalper, it's fast in, fast out. You get instantaneous results. But people want the glory before they want the fight. You know?
100%. And Tino, I think you said something really important there, because this is kind of a value that we have on my channel that I push really heavily, and that is I'm very open about that, the fact that I do not do signals. I don't believe in signals. Listen, I've never met somebody, right? And I tell this to new people who come in because, like you said, I think this is really what a lot of people want. They just want the shortcut, right? And everyone's attracted. Everyone wants to be a day trader. Everyone wants to be a scalper because I think they have this false notion that you could just lay on a beach, hit buy, hit sell, make $1 million a day, and it's super easy. But they don't understand that this is something that takes time to learn. And for me, when I first started trading, I'm the type of person that needs to touch the hot stove 4 or 5 times before I'm like, maybe I'm not going to touch that again.
Yeah, you swim with the sharks.
Yeah, I think that's how some people have to learn. And like you said, you know, it's likely that you're going to get in here. You're going to lose money at first, especially if you're going for these home run trades and you don't have a system and you don't take the time to learn things the right way and execute things the right way. Take time to get your emotion in control. But everyone just wants to signal. Tell me when to buy. Tell me when to sell. I don't want to think. I want to be rich. So we push that heavily on my channel too. You know, I want to teach the CandleMafia, the pattern watchers. I want to teach people how they can see these things that I see one day. If I'm not going to go live, if I can't go live one day, I want to go live the next day and have the CandleMafia and the community come into my chat and be like, hey, Frankie, I saw this on the chart. I was right. And knowing that I'm teaching people to see these things without me is really the goal, because it's the only way to make it in this game sustainably is to actually learn it yourself and not just look at someone to get a buy or sell signal. So I couldn't agree with you more. It's something that we really lean heavily on my channel.
When I first started learning about trading, I wanted to go to these webinars or the seminars, for the better word. And I went to Kensington in London. So I caught the train, the tube from Liverpool Street, and it only runs once a day for this place in London. And I had to catch it at 6 o'clock in the morning, and the seminar wasn't going to be on until 10 o'clock in the morning. So I caught the train, got to the Kensington and South Kensington, and all you saw were all these traders, all these guys coming in with their pads, their books, and they're like getting ready to go and learn. And the speakers were there talking about their systems. So one guy steps up and he said, I've got a system here, and this is what it does, and $10,000, £10,000, you can have the system. Thank you very much. See you later. All right. And this is what this seminar was. You know, it was sold on the idea of how to make money in the markets. All right. And all it was speakers just turning up and just planting themselves. 4,000, 5,000, 10,000 for this system. All right. Buy this book. Do this, do that. Cool. Then this guy at the end, and I was ready to leave, but it was at this point where I made the decision to teach myself. Because he stood at the end of the actual lecture theatre, and he stood in there and he said, before I even say anything, you can hear me talk for the next half an hour about my $3,000 course, all right? Or you can go and do what I did, and that was to read about the markets. Now I was like, okay, cool. That resonated with me. It hit me really hard, because I was like, well, I can buy his course. Okay, but is he going to show me how he makes money, or is he going to show me how the system makes money? Like, what's he going to do? And how am I going to know why? Because you'll go and buy any course out there, and you will always have that question in the back of your mind saying, why? And then unless that course says why, you're always going to be searching for the next best thing. And I'm not saying don't do a course as such, but I'm saying is, you always got to try and fill the gap to what you would be looking for in a course, so that then no one else could turn around and say, it's not there. You know, it wasn't good for me, or it didn't tell me anything. And that's what that guy was saying. And he said that at the start of his speech. And then before you know it, people went and brought his course. Because the sad truth is people don't have the time. You know, we're in that throwaway society kind of thing where we just want it now, and if it's not working, let's roll on to the next thing, because there is an abundance of indicators and courses and what have you. But you can have the best system. It's about how you're going to learn it. And that's what I try and put across to people. Practice, 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 practice doing this. I've sat in the charts for hours. I've gone back to 1981 and drawn patterns, W's, structures, vector candles. I've done it. I've sat and trained my eyes to understand this system, but understand when people buy and when people sell. And to this day, I'm still learning, bro. You know, it's, you can be good at something, great, but man, everyone has to sit through that journey. Even if it's an hour a night, man, practice, practice. And when you get it, when that click happens, that's when you realize you're onto something. That's when you dive in more, and you'll naturally commit more time. Right? Don't go to sleep at night. Sleep for 3 hours rather than 6. You're zombied out on the bed all day. I get all that, but you know what I mean? I'm just being realistic. That's what I did. I just didn't sleep. Stay up all night.
Yeah, you know? That's a testament to how much effort it takes. Like I said, I think a lot of people are just looking for that easy buy sell signal. And like you said,
look, don't discredit that. You know, people do provide the signals, because we've got to consider people's lifestyle as well. Right. Someone might be really interested in what you have to offer and really interested in what everyone else has to offer, but time is of an essence. The people that are sat in this live stream, they have got the time, or they might be sitting, listening, sorting out the kids, you know, at the gym. They might be driving, you know, so it's like, you have to accommodate these people, you know?
Yeah, and
But
that's what I was.
it's go on. No, sorry, bro.
No, you're good. I was just gonna say the same thing. I think that's the biggest thing, right? Is the most scarce asset that people have is their time, right? And that's why these things
That's the
are so
commodity, man.
attractive. And people always ask me, every time I talk to somebody, they're like, how do I get into day trading? I want to be a scalper. I want to be a day trader. And the first thing I say to them is, what does your day look like? Because your day, likely, if you live a normal life and you have a job, your life is likely not set up to be a day trader. But that doesn't mean you can't be one. That's why, there are things like paid signals groups, right? And that's something you can try. And, I always say this. I know there are some people that we know that we're friendly with that have great signals groups, but it's the way people think about it, right? Like, if I were to join a signals group, I'm not taking everything as a 100% sure bet, but what exactly like you were just saying is I would see it more as a time saver, where it's like, I got to work all day, right? I can't stare at the charts, but I got Tino. Tino's looking at the charts, so he knew this looked super bearish. Now I have that clue. I have that lead, and I just got to sell signal for this. I just got to buy signal for this. You don't have to hunt for it. You don't have to look for it. So in that fashion, absolutely, just because people's time is so scarce, I think it can be valuable for that 100%.
Do you know what? To get people, if anyone wants to become a day trader, okay, you need to first make the distinction. Are you wanting the title of day trader? Are you prepared to go through what it takes? Because let me tell you something, day trading can be horrible. It's sometimes not nice when you're having to scale out of a position and be fixated on the chart and there's no movement, and you know that you've got a day after where you've got to look after whether you've got to go to work or you've got to go look after your children, but you've got to try and salvage a position because you don't want to take the loss, or you don't want to miss out on something. You're convinced something's going to happen. I always try and encourage everyone, you have to try and pick a time where you know that you are free, whether that is from 5 o'clock in the morning till 7 o'clock in the morning, or 10 o'clock at night till 3 o'clock in the morning. Use that time and say, this is my window, and get good at behaving in that window. Some people come to me and say, Tino, I have 1 hour in my day to actually trade. Is that enough? The best moves happen at the start of the first hour of the trading day. So you'll make your money in the first hour, and then you'll spend the next 7-8 hours, because you've got free time, giving it all back.
Yep.
Don't do that. Day trading is about being in there for the day. If you can open a trade and be in profit and take what you would like from the market in the first 5 minutes, why are you going to continue trading? Well, because you're going to miss out. You never knew you were going to make that money in the first place. So what are you missing out on? Yep. It's one of those ones, man.
Yeah. Absolutely. Like you said, the beginning of the day, right? That's where you likely, New York Open, any of the session opens, that's where you get a lot of that volatility. And I would say, right, jump in, grab your bag, and get out. You have to pay yourself or you'll never make money in this game. It's one of the major things, and this is going to lead into the next question I want to ask you. But for me, one of the biggest things, my community knows this, one of the biggest things for me was I was the guy that I was actually caught on to TA very quickly. I don't know if it's just the way my brain works. I feel like that was not the struggle for me. The biggest struggle, which might not be a shock to you based off of what you're saying, obviously the mindset, psychology is really the important thing. But for me, it was not paying myself. It was moving my take profit up, getting greedy. The greed absolutely killed me. It wasn't until I started actually paying myself when I was in the green that I started to see myself turn profitable. But with that being said, I do want to go into our next question. And this one comes from Tony Soprano. He says, shout out to Tony Soprano. He's a loyal member of the CandleMafia. Appreciate you, bro. But he says, what are 3 mistakes that you made at the beginning of your trading journey that you wish you knew earlier? I got a million going through my head that I wish I knew. But what are the top 3 mistakes that you might have made in the beginning that you wish you could have skipped?
I always believed that I was right.
Yep.
But that was before understanding what was going on. I could elevate my emotions very quickly. If I was right on a trade, done. That's it. I'm in.
Yep.
Made $2 grand on a move. Awesome. That's me now. I've got my life set. Let me try and find which Rolex do I want to buy.
Yeah.
So I couldn't accept being wrong.
Yep.
That's the biggest mistake. I couldn't accept it. My nature itself, I'm very impulsive. I'm quick with it. I'm shoot from the hip. I'll ask questions later. If I make it look like an accident, then I don't need to ask anything. But that's the logic, But that's how I behave. And as that, I that's the first thing, right? The second thing is I needed to know who I was as a trader. Tried swing trading. I saw some great plays. I was like, look at that position, man. I rode that move and I'm going to try and ride it again to the downside. And it just continued.
Yep.
I needed to know who I was. And if I could go back in my time and say, because I don't look my age. Apparently I look like a virgin, if anything. And I'm 37. I'm 37 this year. I do not look like a 37-year-old.
Bro, you look great for 37. I will say that.
Touch wood, man. God's been kind to me. I didn't have a paper round. It was digital for me in my day. I just sent emails, one of them ones. But it's NMM actually, man. You got to take the good stuff. But learning about who I was paramount to me being able to level up my trading. So I didn't like the idea of leaving money in the chart because I was so good at doing that. Do you know how many times I've witnessed moves that I've waited for so long? So I tried to overcome my persistence to always be in a trade.
Yeah.
Okay. Always. I wanted the action because that's how I taught myself. In order for me to understand the market, I needed to be in the market. So I'd go and get 3-4 grand, chuck it at the chart. And I'd say, I believe it's going to go up. And whilst I'm in a position, I'm working out why I needed to stay in or get out. And then I would highlight certain things and then say, right, it did this, it did this. Oh, made a bit of money. Let's close our position. Let's do it again. In the end, when you're doing that sort of behavior, you start chucking a little bit more money than you need to. And then it starts getting bigger and bigger. And then you start fighting with yourself, trying to learn because you wanted to be in the trade, because you felt that you needed to be in the trade to learn the game. And that's not the case. Which then leads me on to the next thing that I wish I learned before. Had I had structure in my trading beforehand, I may not have experienced what I experienced till this point. See, now as a scalper, I'm literally like a sniper. I'm looking for the kill shot. I want to get in, bang, get out. Because I don't want to have a reminiscence of what happened to me before. Because I know what that Tino's like. He's going to get all agitated. He's going to get worked up. He's going to start staying awake for like 48 hours and not closing a trade. I remember one trade I had with dollar yen. Bruv, wow. I was building shorts on dollar yen. I was waiting for it to go down. It just kept going up, bro. Non-stop. And then I was so heavily invested in this trade that I was at the point where I wanted to give up. Now, 36 hours had passed. I stayed awake for the whole thing. I sat through a New York session, Japanese, Asian session, got in the New York Open again, sitting through nearly 2.5 New York Opens. I was like, what the hell am I doing? And then it got down, it moved down to my break even, and I had absorbed all that loss. I was like, you know what? I'm happy with that. I closed the trade and it took a shit. It collapsed. That is what hurt me, the drop, not the fact that I salvaged my account. So I learned from that and said, you know what? I'm never doing that again. At most, I'll hold a day trade, a swing day trade. I will hold it tops 24 hours max. And I have to be good about it if I'm building positions. I'd be building the positions in the Asian session to lead on to the next session. But nah, man, I wouldn't do that again. No way, no chance. But people do experience it. They think by holding on, it means that the market's going to come back. It will come back, but it will come back after you've closed your position. Yeah. And that's the trickery right there.
Yep.
After
it wrecks you.
Lesson, man. After it wrecks you, bro. After you've experienced that pain, after you've broken the laptops, you sworn at the dog and you blamed the house, the next door neighbor, or the neighbor that's 5 houses away, that the reason your slippage came on the broker on your position is because of him. Yep. I've been
Why'd
there,
you start
bro.
your car?
I'll do it. Exactly.
Yeah.
Why is the radiator on, man? Why you got the heating on at 32 degrees, man? That's why I'm all messed up.
Absolutely. I know the feeling all too well, Tino. But you know, I another important thing that I think you said there was, you know, we always talk, at least on my channel, I always talk about how you want to keep your emotion out of your trading, right? And I think it is important. A lot of people say, you know, you have to be okay with losing trades, which I 100% agree with. You're gonna lose trades. You know, you're not gonna win every single one. But just like you shouldn't get over emotional about your losses. You also shouldn't get over emotional about your wins, right? Like for me, a big thing that helped me a lot was, you know, when I lost, once I learned, which again was a long road, right? Once I learned how to actually manage my risk and stick to my plan, I was okay losing the trades because I knew if I lost the trade, it was going to be a small controlled loss. But what I had to learn was not getting high off my wins or too high off my wins, right? I wanted to get to a point where if I lost, I was like, you know, I got stopped out. That's just what happens sometimes. But the wins, it took me a little longer to, like you were saying, the example that you were just using, you know, I would win a lot of money or I'd hit a bunch of good trades in a row and I would just be like, this is it. I made it. I made it. Like you said, looking at the Rolexes, like, that's it. I've made it. Just getting super high off those wins. And I don't think people talk about that enough. You definitely don't want to get too high off your wins either.
Look, man, you can't say you can't be emotional. Now, the new trader that comes in and makes a bag of cash, he is elevated. Happened to me. I remember it's in my blog. I brought a stock, an oil stock, and it was like pennies. And I bought 600 pounds of it. I just spent 600 quid. There you go. Let me buy some stock. And I had loads of these shares. It was like buying an altcoin. And I was just looking at it. And at that time, I didn't know what I was doing. I just brought this stock and it shot up. I made a stack of money. So I'm thinking, oh my God, I've just hit the nuts on this. It was a huge amount. And it was literally a couple of hours after I had brought it. So you can imagine at that point, getting involved in trading so early. And then I saw that win.
Yep.
You can't blame people for feeling like that. That's why I say all the time, pay yourself. Because if someone is working a corporate job, okay, what do they have to earn per hour to stay at that job? Or what do they have to do? All right. So if you're on a 9 to 5 and you earn $15, $20 an hour, all right, you have to work 9 to 5 every single day, Monday to Friday. Cool. Now you've got a trade in Bitcoin that's netted you the equivalent of a 3-month salary. Okay. What do you have to do to work 3 months in a row to make that money? Do you understand how much time you've saved from that one trade that you earned a 3-month salary on? That 3-month salary could be like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7K. All right. 7K to some people, when they're in a winning trade, they'll be like, yo, this could be 10K. This could be 50K. This could be 100K. That's why they don't pay themselves. They don't take it because they think, well, I never had it in the first place anyway, so it doesn't matter what happens. But then when it starts coming down and they're losing the 7K and it's going down to 5K, down to 3K, now it's down at $500. They'll take the $500 because they don't want to be in a negative position. They'll be like, yeah, man, I'm cool with that. Bro, you just had it at 7K. And I always try and encourage people to think about the money that they make in trading, put someone else in your shoes, or look at someone else who has no idea about trading. Because in their head, they're probably thinking, I'm just going to go and work 9 to 5 so I can earn $2,000, $3,000 a month. And that's my life. And they may be happy at that. So anyone trading, you're lucky, because there are people that haven't experienced what trading is. And it's like they're denying themselves what could become, because you could get someone that works a normal job, happy with their life, but they could be an absolute genius at the charts and they don't even know it because they haven't known about, what you could make. They can only associate trading with people losing money or it's a scam. Forget that. Stock market. No, thank you. It's going to go down. It's going to go to the pits. Forget that. Those corrupted bankers and what have you. Trading doesn't have a good name. And like all business, you can go and study to become a doctor, spend 7 years and then not have any work. That's the university system. So many people study for so many years to get a degree to not be able to work. It doesn't sit right, does it? So that's a loss because you've got a passport to work and no one wants you. So I always try and encourage people to, like, put yourself into someone else's shoes. You've earned what someone has to work physically for 3 months for in 5 minutes. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
Pay yourself, man. That's the truth right there, man.
100%. I've been in some situations myself where, I've kind of had to have that little reality check too, where it's like, I may have not pulled what I wanted to pull out of a trade or something. And then I just, again, think of that normal person, be like, still, like, what did I do? I sat down at my desk. It's 2 hours after waking up, and I've made, more money than a lot of people can make in a week or so, so I think it's a really good point that you make. Did you want to say one more thing? I want to move on to another question, but go ahead.
I'm laughing because I'm literally exactly what you go through. Been through that, man, and you can go through it today.
Yep.
I'm not alien to it.
Yep.
No one is. You will always get that point. And I was good when I accepted that I never know how much money I can make, but I know what I can lose. I took emotion away.
Yep.
Oh, $500. Cool. I'll take that. Took me 5 minutes to earn that. Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Or $500 after 2 days. Yep. I'll take that. Cool. Because I didn't know I was going to get it.
Yep.
That's the mindset shift. You can't know what to make. Just because trading says buy and sell and the end result is money, why are we focusing on the money? So let's focus on execution. Let's focus on getting the system down. Let's focus on how you behave when you're trying to apply a trade. That's what trading really is, man.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's like, it's thinking like, wow. Everyone's holding, it kind of goes back to that whole thing where everyone's holding out for that one trade that's going to change their life, right? I always say, we had Garrett Soloway on the show not too long ago. He comes on a lot. And he was saying, another person who's been trading for a very long time, I think he's been trading for like 20-something years. And he said singles and doubles, and I think I've heard this before, but, singles and doubles will make you a millionaire. Going for home runs and grand slams constantly will make you broke. And I think that kind of goes hand in hand with what you were saying, right? Like, hey, I made $500 in the past day, right? Like, why am I going to wait for this to turn into 10K when I know there's no guarantee it's going to happen? Why not just pay yourself that $500? That was a big mindset shift for me. For real.
Don't worry, I get my words mixed up, bro. Don't worry about that.
But yeah, it was a huge thing I had to get past as well. So definitely really important for everybody watching this right now to kind of think about, right? Like, once you're in the green, what do you make at your job, right? Like, if you're making $100 a day or $150 a day for, just for easy numbers, are you up $100 on your trade? Close it out. You usually work 8 hours for that. So why not just take it, in the trade and take that money while you're in the green? But I do want to move on to this next question. I know this is probably something a lot of people are curious about. So this one comes from Jonah Plainclothes. Shout out to Jonah. He says, when you're trading, what are you trading? What are your favorites and why? And it could be altcoins, Bitcoin, coffee beans, oil, gold, whatever you like to trade the most. Forex, let us know.
Okay. I'll always trade Forex because it's cheaper to trade. I don't have to worry about wild costs, okay? Because I pay minimal spreads. I pay a fixed commission on my trades when I'm trading Forex, okay? It's the same in cryptocurrency. You guys don't have spreads when you trade crypto, but you've got the funding fees that you've got to get over first. That's why crypto sometimes is a little bit difficult to scalp, all right? Especially Bitcoin. So depending on the size you're using, you'd need a good $300-400 move in Bitcoin to say, yep, I'm cool with that little move right there. I'm happy with that. I've covered my costs and whatnot. But each asset is different. But when you trade Forex, you're trading the spot market. So you don't know what's going on behind the buys and the sells. You'll never know. It's always an obscure time. Like, you don't know who's buying. Is it this bank? Is it that bank? It's the spot market in principle. Okay. And that's when you've got the futures market. Now, I've traded futures in the past, I'm trading futures now because NASDAQ is moving beautifully and S&P as well. So, but my go-tos are dollar yen, because I sat and watched that for a good 6 years, trying to understand its behavior. One thing about dollar yen, it respects its levels very well. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, all assets respect levels very well. That's true. Okay. When you sit and stare at it long enough, you'll come to appreciate what I mean about it respecting certain levels, right? Euro, I like to scalp that because it likes to use it against the dominance of the dollar. Now, the dominance of the dollar is critical if you are trading Forex, because you then need to understand what investors are doing, or banks. Are they moving money from euro back into dollar? Are they selling up the yen to move it into to dollar itself? Are they buying Canadian dollars and then taking that out and then going back to dollar again? Like you've got to work out what the dominance of the dollar is, because the dominance dollar chart itself is a basket of all the currency pairs. So you've got euro, you've got pound, you've got the yen, you've got the Canadian dollar, you've got the Swiss franc and the krone. All right. How those assets work is going to dictate what your trading day is going to be like. So if you see dollar dominance shooting up, you know euro is going to be dropping because it makes up 56% of that index. Yep. Okay. You don't really want to focus on the krone or the Swiss franc. Like those are small liquid assets. The main ones are, of course, dollar, euro, and pound, and maybe yen, because yen makes up 17% of it, and the pound only makes up 9% of the dominance of the dollar. Yep. So I will always either trade euro and Dixie. Keep an eye on Dixie because you can trade Dixie, all right? But the spreads are too wide. So I'll trade euro and then the dominance of the dollar. Sometimes I will then trade the dominance of the dollar against the NASDAQ, all right? Because you'll find that when dollar's moving up, NASDAQ kind of moves down because investors are seeking cash because they're no longer investing in stock. Okay, that's the principle. You want to be buying up stock as it's going up. Happy days in terms of value.
Yep.
And then depending on what Bitcoin for me, it will be one of those spot trades not spot trades. I will trade it for spread. All right. So I'll go onto MetaTrader MT4 and I'll run a long or run a short. Sometimes I can try and scalp it on MetaTrader because I do get a bit of a discount, but not enough for me to be frantic with my scalpings. If I had a scalping session for me, I could open and close about 50, 60 trades in the best part of a 2-hour trading session. And that's warming up, you know?
Yep.
But futures markets, that's where it's a little bit more clearer.
Yep.
Because you've got volume, you've got the contracts that are being brought and sold, you've got data, and there are set times to trade. Because you've got the luxury of being able to trade Bitcoin at any time, you really need to make sure that you're not trading it all the time.
Yep.
Because that's you'll make $1,000 in the market open and on New York tomorrow morning. Then you'll go and trade the Asian session and Bitcoin will be bouncing up and down like a frog.
Yeah.
And it won't go anywhere. And you're just eating your capital away in fees. And you're like, hold on a second. Price has gone nowhere, but I've lost $100.
Yep.
How? You know? So back to your question, my go-to is euro in Forex market, euro and Dixie, the dominance of the dollar. I will always trade against those two. And in the futures markets, I'm always looking at NASDAQ. And sometimes I trade the S&P, but it's mainly the NASDAQ because the NASDAQ for me, it's the legitimate Bitcoin. It's the regulated Bitcoin in terms of the way it moves. That's how I see it. The volatility it's wild.
Yeah.
You know, and it's scary at times, especially when you're sat in a stop run by NASDAQ. It's nasty, man. NASDAQ is nasty.
So that is very interesting. So I've actually been told a bunch of times now, most of my trading, like 90% or more of my trading is in crypto. But one thing I've never traded is I've never traded Forex. Back when I first started my trading journey, I think I had demo traded some Forex when I was first learning how to trade before I found out about crypto. But I constantly get told now, someone will come up in my chat and be like, dude, why are you trading crypto, bro? Like I see what you're doing. Like, this would crush on Forex. It respects TA much better than crypto. Crypto's way too unpredictable. Do you find that, trading both crypto and Forex, do you find that Forex respects your TA better, or is it just not that much of a difference?
Okay, so this is why I introduced everyone into the logic of Forex, because the channel started off as crypto. I would only look at Bitcoin and Ethereum. That was it. But when I started taking trades, I was like talking about Bitcoin and Ethereum, but on the side, I was talking about, I was just doing my own trading with euro and dollar yen. And I was sharing some trades to the patrons. And I was like, look what happened today. I was like, let me explain to you this trade with dollar yen. Shot up like 110 pips, rode the move up, rode the move down. But Bitcoin was trading sideways throughout that whole time. And then I was like, nah, man. I need to start telling people about Forex, because Bitcoin will go sideways a whole session and do nothing. But then you've got euro moving up 50, 60 pips.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, the ADR, the average daily range is like wider than that now. Dollar yen used to move around about 60 pips a day, and that was 55 even. And that was like, wow.
Right.
Now with this run up and all this madness, it's going for like $125, $130, 135 pip move sometimes. They make big moves in Forex now, which suggests to me that everything is really volatile. It's getting volatile and volatile. We need to have that reset in the marketplace, because you can't have these wild swings in those asset classes. So that's when I started talking about Forex. And that's when a lot of people in the pattern watchers started to understand why Forex respects TA more, because there is an aspect of regulation in the Forex market, because we're dealing with money that moves around the world. You can't have too much of a strong euro. You can't have too much of a strong dollar. Yeah, granted, it can keep going up and it keeps going down, but there's always going to be a time in the marketplace where they have to rotate the way price moves. So you can have euro moving up from one start of a week, and it can move up nearly 900 pips towards the end of the week. That is something that it can do, or even in the month, 900 pip move. That can be done by Forex, and you'll just see it yourself. You pull up a Forex chart and you look at how some assets move, you see that you're missing out on loads of volatility. And that's why people trade the altcoins, but the altcoins are too fast. I like to know that there's thousands, because there's more Forex traders than there are crypto traders. We can see that because the market cap of crypto, of course, is only like just below $1 trillion. Now, the Forex market's around $6.57 trillion. That's the daily turnover. So you can see where the liquidity is at. Yeah. So if I see a green, for example, in the hybrid system, if I see a green candlestick or green vector candle above the 50 EMA or the moving average, 9 times out of 10, I know that thousands of other traders are seeing that candle. I can verify that the volume's going to be there because I'm in the most liquid market. And I can also assume that price is going to continue from that point. But then you'll see the same thing happen in an altcoin. It will show itself, but then it will come all the way back down again. Man, I just smacked my table. Man, that hurt. Bro.
I did that the other day, bro.
Man. Bruv. But yeah, so yeah, your Forex, man, that's the dark side. That's what we talk about in the Pattern Watchers Discord. In the Patreon as well, we talk where most of the guys in the Patreon trade Forex and the indices because you've got more information. Yeah. You know, the indices like NASDAQ's making up 100 of the top tech stocks by market cap. Right. You've got the US 30, the top performing companies by market cap in principle, top 30 companies. When you start seeing Microsoft moving and Amazon's moving, right? Usually by the story of stocks, if money's going there, where the other stocks aren't moving, they're probably going to start moving soon. So look at stocks as take the main stocks, the big market cap stocks, right? Apple, Amazon, and Google, for example, all right? And Tesla. Take those as the majors in crypto. So like your Bitcoin and Ethereum. Then take your altcoins and look at those as the lower cap stocks. But when the big cap stocks move in the stock market, usually the lower cap ones follow suit, because in the stock market, they are based on their sectors and industries. Okay, so you want semiconductor, here's one for you. The semiconductor industry itself is going to have a bit of a problem if the US is going to start making its own semiconductors. So China-based companies aren't going to be happy with that. They're going to start losing work. So that will be a great time to start shorting Chinese stocks because of what's going on with this bill to pass for semiconductors being created in the US, you know? So where do you get that information in crypto? It's either it's an altcoin. Who are the developers? The only bit of information about crypto that I can get from any crypto coin, how committed are the developers?
Yeah.
Are the developers still working to make it happen? And then even then, it's one of those, oh, are they going to stay there for long? But in the stock market, you don't have that problem. All right. Unless the company itself is going to go into liquidation, they're providing a service. And if it's a big market cap company, it's very unlikely they're going to go under, like Amazon or Apple, or you see what I'm saying? So it's all different, bro. Like there is no indefinite way to trade. There is no indefinite asset that you need to trade. For me, I like to improve the chance of a trade working in my favor by making sure I'm trading the most liquid asset, trading at the most liquid time. And as time progresses, I will use different aspects of the hybrid system depending on where I am, what I'm doing, and what the markets are doing. Right now, it's a different time that we're in right now because it's all based on news. And that's what it is. When it calms down and we know where we are with interest and all that, the charts will be so much easier to trade. Forex even easier because the flow of money will start working properly again. That's my opinion.
Yeah. And I've been saying to people a lot, you know, we're in a weird time right now. Like things have been a little hard for sure. So I totally agree. And kind of on this topic, the original question I was going to ask was, as far as crypto, you know, what are you holding long term? Have you been buying in? Are you buying just Bitcoin? Is it just altcoins? But I'll actually open this up to as far as longer term investments, crypto, stocks, you know, gold, silver, whatever it is. What kind of stuff are you looking at to hold long term? Or are you kind of holding? Are you cash heavy right now? What are you looking at?
So, in terms of crypto, I have the majors. Got a bit of Bitcoin, a bit of Ethereum. XRP, all right. Not a lot of people like that. I don't know why people don't like it, but I hold majority of the time, I'm holding financial payment coins, ACH, you know, Alchemy Pay, all right. XRP, I'm looking at those kind of things because cryptocurrency is about money moving, okay? It's not about AI. It's not about NFTs or anything like those are the side projects of cryptocurrency. Yeah. Crypto is about how quick can I get my money over to you? Can it be happening in a second or however? All right. What's the most cost effective way? And that's why crypto's twisting it all up in the banking sector because they're compromising their business. Yeah. All right. So it's mainly, you know, XRP, Bitcoin. Would I sell my Ethereum to get more Bitcoin? I would do that. That's me being honest here. I would rather have more Bitcoin than I would have as Ethereum. I've got Ethereum for the sake of having it. I'm not drawn to having Ethereum. Do you know what I mean? That's. But then I've got altcoins, like XRPs, FTM, got a bit of Gala, ACH, Alchemy Pay. And to be honest with you, I chucked it all onto a hard wallet and I've put it somewhere. I'm not going to look at it. I don't care what it is, what value it is now, because I'm not interested in it right now. Yeah. Because the crypto market is still young. Yep. You know, to me, it's locked up somewhere. I do need to check in on where it is because I kind of nearly forgot where it was. So I've got to be mindful of that. But whatever I do in terms of my trading, gold is a good thing to hold. You know, you got to pick up a bit of gold and silver. Silver. Like we're going into the semiconductor sector right now in the sense where, you know, We need rare earth metals for all these machines. You make mobile phones packed with rare earth metals. We need silver as well. And silver is despicably cheap.
Yeah.
It's so cheap, bro. Like it's horrible that it's so cheap. And guys are calling for gold to go to $3,500 an ounce, and silver to start reaching that $500-600. Come on, man, $500-600 for silver. That's crazy. It's going to be a commodity war very soon. That's what I think is going to happen. And we're already talking about it tonight, what we spoke about in the live, weaponizing aluminium and palladium. Like, bro, weaponizing metals. That shuts down all of what we're doing right now. Yeah. We rely on those metals, man. So cash positions, nah, I'm not in cash. I will always put money to work.
Yeah. Because
that's what's going on. It's just now everything's cheaper. If I'm going to look at stocks, I'm going to straight up look at AI stocks, Nvidia all day. Yep. All right. And there is another stock that I'm looking at. I can't mention it because it's one of those really, I can't even mention it, bro. That's the messed up thing. I can't mention it. You'll have to ask Mike Dutch on that one. He can say it, but I can't say it.
All right.
But it's a good stock, but it depends on.
Somebody get Mike on the phone. No, I love it, man.
I can't mention it, man.
My portfolio, if my portfolio is lacking in something, it's definitely precious metals. Gold and silver is something I really gotta, I always say it. Anyone watching, that's part of my community right now, is definitely, they're like, yeah, Frank, you always say that you're gonna get into silver and gold, and I haven't really done it yet. I'm not as educated. I'm much more educated on crypto. I'm much more educated on other things. Precious metals, I've gotten given some pretty good places to go buy it. But for me, the reason I've kind of held out is like, listen, if I went to go buy gold, you could sell me fake gold. I would have no idea. I don't know anything about it.
You can either trade. Look, you can hold gold or you can trade its price. That's the two ways you can hold it. Same with silver and same with crypto. You can either hold crypto or trade it. It's all down to what you decide to do. Okay. But it's like a house, right? You can buy a house. You can either have 60 grand sitting in the bank earning you zero. All right. Or you can go and put it into a property and rent it out. So it's all, what are you comfortable with? You don't need to be super smart to invest in gold or silver. All right. They make it easier for us to buy Bitcoin. Why is gold any different? Now, if you're going to go and buy gold from a jeweler's, it's a different story. You've got to check if it's real, is it marked, and all you need to do is just rub it. If it's the good stuff, if it's turning green, then you've obviously got your fake gold and what have you. But for me, it's all about commodities. Oil, keeping an eye on oil as well. I'm not saying you got to go and buy barrels of oil. You ain't going to be able to do much with that.
Right.
But it's all commodities, and all these markets are based off the supply and demand of commodities. If gold is going up, everyone's happy days. It's also a safe haven as well. So in times of fear, they will always park their money in gold.
Yeah.
But now gold's coming down, cash is the favorable position.
Right.
And you're seeing that's being demonstrated in the charts, man. So each to their own, bro. Like how you make a dollar, whether you flip it, kick it, do whatever you want. Ultimately, if you have the end goal of making something from something, you could sell toilet paper, bro. And you make a killing off that. There you go. It's all about the end line, like how you make a dollar. You put your heart to it. Cool. You know?
I love that. Speaking of flipping and kicking things, guys, I don't care if you flip, kick, lick, headbutt, or elbow the like button. But if you guys are finding value in this live stream, if you guys are loving the fire that Tino's spitting right now, go ahead and smash that like button.
Fire, man. That's tomorrow, man. That's tomorrow. We bring the fire in the New York live streams, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's go. Well, Tino, we are running out of time here. I really, really want to thank you for coming on, man. This was an awesome stream, and I know
I chewed your ear off, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I chewed your ear off, and I apologize right now for going on like I'm doing right now.
No,
I'm taking over the stream.
Dude, no. This is why we do this, man. I like to bring people on this show to give us a different, because kind of like the whole vibe of this conversation. everybody looks at different stuff. Different things work for different
Yeah.
people. So the whole point of having our guests on is to get a look into Tino, Traders Reality's mind. What do you look at? You look at a lot of different stuff than us. So I love that you spent all this sauce on tonight's stream. But before we let you go, I want to give you the stage.
Yes.
As long as you need, let the people know where they can find you and what you got going on.
Cool, man. Cool. All right. So to get the hybrid system, you just need to go over to tradersreality.com. Follow the 4 steps on there. Happy days. It will show you how to download it. It takes you straight to TradingView. You want to learn more about the hybrid, you check out the Patreon. It's not signals based. It's telling you how the system works. I talk about where price is likely to go, what I believe, my thoughts behind why I think it's going to go there. And it helps you tie everything in so that you can make the decision for yourself. That's the end goal of that.
Mm-hmm.
But get with the community. Get into the Pattern Watchers Discord. It's madness in there, guys. It really is. You know, let me ask you a question, Frankie. Do people do memes about you? Do people put your
Yes.
face on what? And bro, I don't think you've actually had the worst yet, man. Like, they're putting me on females, bro.
I've
It's
seen
not
some funny
good.
ones.
It's good, but it's not. You know, I've got the sauce on that, man. Let me tell you, I've got some skilled technicians in the Discord that can bring some really good pictures, and that's why I'm going to start an OnlyFans.
I
Just
love
using those pictures.
Too funny.
I'm playing, man.
Tino, I don't know if anyone's ever told you this, but I wanted to tell you this. You know, obviously I've seen your content. I've seen your live streams. Obviously, we just had this conversation here, and you say
man.
you chewed my ear off, which you definitely didn't. But I want to tell you this, man. You are a great storyteller, man. Like, you're explaining technical analysis. You're explaining all these things, and you say it in a story structure, and you're a great talker and you're a great storyteller, man. Captivating speaker. And again,
You know what? I'm Greek. That's what we are. We're good orators. You know, we can talk shit, but let's be honest, man. Everyone wants to hear a good story, because I can talk the hybrid system in the most monotone way and be like, buy here when the green vector candle hits that point. Man, you boring. Nah, we're not saying it. We're not saying it, bro. We've got to compose ourselves.
but yeah,
But yeah,
man,
thank you, bro, man. It's love.
absolutely.
No
You're
worries.
you're an absolute legend, man. And again, I
It's all good,
appreciate you
man.
so much for coming on the stream. I know
Nah,
the Candle
thank you.
Mafia is happy to have you here. So, guys,
Pattern
mods,
watchers as well, man.
yes, absolutely. And anybody from the Pattern Watchers in the chat, thank you guys for tuning in. Smash that like button for your boy Tino. And if you don't think I'm that bad either, smash the like button for me. But
Nah,
Tino,
show
thank
some
you.
love to my guy. Come on, man. They'll help. They're good people, man. They will support, man. They will come and watch
It's
you up as
funny,
well,
man. The one of the things that I love about having people on is obviously inevitably we get their communities in our chat, and as soon as you
Yeah.
guys rated us, I saw them popping up in there, man. They seem like awesome people. Like, we're super
They are,
community
man.
focused over here, and the Pattern Watchers seem like the exact same flavor as the Candle Mafia. It's just a super positive.
It is,
cool,
man. The
supportive community.
You know what? Candle Mafia, man. I like that a lot, you know. I really do like it. Candle Mafia, man. We're hitting with the Sopranos of the charts. I like it. The Sopranos of the charts. And Pattern Watchers. What a
Yeah.
fire reckoning that is, man. We need to do a dual stream during the live New York session, bro.
Dude,
We need to arrange that one time. That would be interesting. Candle Mafia and Pattern Watchers together.
absolutely. Let's go.
You know?
Well, hey,
Dude, let's do it, man.
Next time we're together, maybe we could do it for New York Open on your show. Again, thank
Happy
you so much
days.
for coming on, man. And
No, thank you, bro. Thank you. God bless you, man.
yeah, absolutely. Candle Mafia, go subscribe to the Traders Reality YouTube channel. Tino,
Thank
take
you,
it
man.
easy.
Thank you,
I
bro.
gotta get to this.
You too, my boy.
I gotta get to this event, but I appreciate you. Take it easy, and we'll see you next time.
No
hopefully
worries, man.
on your
Take care.
channel.
Mad
Hasta
love,
pasta,
guys.
brother.
Take care of yourself. Peace.
Woo, baby. That was the sauce right there, guys. Shout out to Tino from Traders Reality. guys, talk about good vibes. Talk about good vibes, man. We had a couple of meetings just doing sound check and stuff with Tino and Mike, and they are just awesome people. And again, pattern watchers, shout out to you guys. Again, you guys seem like you're the exact same flavor as the Candle Mafia, so shout out to you guys. Thank you for showing support, and thank you for showing up to hang out and spend some time here on the Frankie Candles YouTube channel. I really do appreciate every single one of you guys. Before we hop off, guys, I do have the Hit Network. I have Ben's book signing to get to. We're going to go hang out with the community, meet some people, hopefully. Maybe even some people will recognize me. I don't know. But before we get out of here, guys, I do just want to do a quick little rundown of the charts, give you guys a quick little update on what we're looking at. Let me just go ahead and pull up my screen here and let you guys know kind of what we're thinking here. Now, obviously, we are getting a bit of a move to the downside right now, and this is something that we were looking at. Now, we were coming up to this key level of support. Let me go ahead and pull up the chart here if my computer will let me. Boom. There we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and jump right into it, guys. Here we go. Bada boom, bada bing. Here we go. Wow. Glad the technical difficulties decided to pop up after Tino was gone. But here we go. Okay, so, guys, here, what is going on? What is going on? Okay, I'm just gonna pull, I gotta change my aspect ratio, guys. You know, for anybody who's new here, I got a nice ultra wide monitor thinking it was gonna be amazing to do TA on, and unfortunately, the first time I used it, everybody was like, "Hey, make your computer 1080p because we can't see anything." Shout out to Traders Reality, Tino, bro. If you're still in here, bro, thank you so much for coming in, man. And we hope to have you on again soon, and hopefully we can come on your show too. Shout out to Tino, guys. Mad love. Shout out to Tino. He's the man. And again, like just a captivating speaker. You know, he was talking there. I'm just sitting here behind the mic, just like. And he's like, sorry, I'm going on too long. I'm like, no, keep going. Please, keep going. And guys, another really good point that Tino made was that he never stops learning. That is something that I seriously take seriously. Like, you know, I am always learning from people, and it's not always like, hey, you know, I don't only try to learn from people who are way above me, right? Like, you know, when we have someone like Gareth Soloway on, who's been trading for 20-something years, right? He's been around for such a long time. You know, he has a ton of experience. I'm never, that's not the only types of people that I learn from, right? I sometimes meet people who come to the Hit Network BitBoy Crypto Studios, and they're excited to meet me. And they're showing me stuff on the chart. They're using an indicator that I've never seen, or they're showing me a strategy that I've never used. And like, I'm asking these people questions. Like, I am never going to sit up here and be like, I know everything. So I think Tino saying that was a really, really good point to get across to people. You know, never stop learning. No matter where you are in your journey on trading or in anything in life, guys, never stop learning. And with that being said, let's go ahead and learn about these charts, guys. So let's go ahead. I'm going to turn off our levels here real quick, and I just want to take a little bit of a look and see what we got going on here, right? So we are getting this little dump down here, and we do have, actually, you know what? Let's go ahead. We want to remember, guys, this is something we've been looking at for quite some time, right? On the weekly red dot is still printing, guys. This is definitely more of a bearish look. Like I was saying on yesterday's stream and the stream before that, I'm not calling for an absolute dump off of this red dot, but you have to understand this is a pretty powerful signal and could indicate some downside, and we are getting very, very close to cracking that key level that is going to make me flip more to a macro bearish sentiment. And hey, maybe we'll get that 8K that Tino is talking about. And hey, I would not be mad if that happened. I would love for Bitcoin to hit 8K. Just load up those bags. But guys, again, remember, we talk about this. We've been checking in on this almost every day. We were looking at this bearish divergence not only on the 2-day, but the 3-day and the 4-day. Now we have money flow. Actually, money flow on the 4-day not looking too bad. 3-day money flow is starting to come out, and your 2-day money flow is kind of coming up. But this is kind of, we were saying yesterday, you know, hey guys, like these bearish divergences are not going to look so obvious until we go back in hindsight and take a look at them, where we're like, oh my God, we're ripping down, you know, we're back into, you know, we're back in the 19,000s. What happened? When you go back and look at the chart, you'll be like, well, hey, we came up to a very key level of resistance here, right? And we put in that bearish divergence on a high daily time frame. So when you go back and look at this, if this winds up being a big dump down, we were talking about this yesterday and the day before, I think. if this winds up being a big move down, it's going to look obvious because we have the 2, 3, and 4-day bearish divergences. Super bearish signal at a key level of resistance. And this is what we were looking at, right? Now, we are looking at some key levels that we're approaching right now. I got to make this quick, guys, because I do actually have to get somewhere. But let's go ahead and turn those levels on. Now, we are coming down to these key levels, guys. It is game on right now, right? You guys will know we were looking at this macro value area. You can see the range between these two red lines is our value area. Anybody who does not know what I'm talking about, strap in, because if you're gonna stick around, we're gonna be talking about these volume profiles quite a bit on the channel. But we were looking at this macro range and saying, hey, we are coming down to the value area low. And the way that the value areas work typically, guys, is when you come down to the value area low or the lows of the range, right? Your range being between the red line and this red line right here. When you come to the lows, it is very likely that you will continue back up to the range highs. And then once you start getting a rejection from these range highs, which again was expected because we were getting these bearish divergences into key levels of resistance, coming up to that $25,000, $25,200 level. Once you reject these highs, or obviously we came out of the value area here, but once you cannot sustain support above your value area, or even if you are just rejecting your value area, if your value area high is up here, it is very likely for price to return back to the value area low eventually, right? And we were talking about this all the way up here when we were starting to reject these levels, right? We were looking for a revisit of the value area low, but price action's messy, guys. We talk about this every day. I'm doing this more for the new people. Price action is always messy, but we knew that once we rejected these levels decisively, it was going to be likely to come down to our value area low, and that is exactly what happened. So the reason I say that is because that's how we got here, right? So now we are at that value area low, and these are our key levels of support. This blue box is the key level, right? We held above the on the top of this blue box for just a little bit before coming down and hitting that value area low, and that is essentially where we are right now. Now, this value area low did move down a bit. You guys will know that if you're in the Discords or if you've been watching the stream for a while. You know, once you get that value area low was here, but the value areas do slightly move as price action develops. But now we are at the lows of this range. And you guys will know we were seeing some potential bottom signals here on the 4-hour time frame. But they printed and confirmed, but they didn't get invalidated, guys, right? We were looking for that bullish divergence, and we wound up not quite getting the bullish divergence. We did get it somewhat, right? But it was more of an exaggerated bullish divergence where you have equal lows on your oscillator with lower lows on your price action. So a lot of times those can be false signals or just not as strong of a signal as a typical bullish divergence. But now we are actually starting to invalidate that with this red dot as we print that yellow X on the 4-hour, guys. Obviously, this just confirmed, I believe. Yeah, this just confirmed. I didn't even know this was here. I was getting ready for the stream, and we were just live. I don't even know if this was... this might have just popped up right as that candle closed a few minutes ago. But... 4-hour yellow X, guys, this is a much more bearish sign. You guys will remember we had those double blood diamonds indicating a potential drip down here. But that yellow X confirming here is definitely more of a bearish sign, right? So this has got me feeling a little less bullish at this level, right? But I'm not getting overly bearish. And there is a point where I will get overly bearish. I am expecting if we are going to get a big move back up, remember, when you come to the bottom of the range, it is likely if you hold support that you will continue back up to your range highs, right? So you come to the lows, you expect the highs. You reject the highs, you expect the lows. You hold the lows, you expect the highs, right? But we're not just going to blindly long this blue box, right? We need the confirmations. And I will say this confirmed yellow X on top of these double blood diamonds is making me feel a little bit more bearish in the short term at this moment. But I don't really start holding a more medium to longer term bearish sentiment until we break this very key level. This #1 secret level we must hold. I'm just kidding, guys. Start making the thumbnails like that. Super secret level. I'm just kidding. But I'm going to show you right now the level that I'm looking at, and if we break it, This is going to really be the point where I am saying, hey, I think this is about to get a lot worse. And you can see here, guys, this is kind of more the value area we were looking at. It's different on some exchanges. Your value area high was up here. So it's a little more clear here, right? You break your lows, flip them to support. You come to your highs. You reject the highs. You come to your lows. But now we're at the lows, right? And we do have that 1 hour blood diamond. Dang, the Bears came out today, guys. The Bears came out today to play. But I want to talk about that key level that I am looking to hold. And if we do not hold it, guys, that is where we are expecting much lower prices. Obviously, we've been looking at this recently on the channel. Let me just check these higher time frames. Do we have any like 10-hour blood diamonds or anything? Nothing like that. Okay. Yeah, we did invalidate a lot of bullish signals that we were getting here, guys. I will say, yeah, Mrs. Candles is giving me the, hey, we're going to be late to the party. But let's just wrap it up real quick here, guys. Yeah, we were getting a bullish divergence on that 10-hour print. It was printing, guys. And then we got that rejection from the VWAP on that 0 line, and we did actually invalidate that setup. But we could potentially put another one in here if we come a little lower. But, guys, mainly the main level I am looking to hold to maintain my general bullish sentiment for the longer term, right? And again, we may lose it, right? Let me come out to the daily so I can pull this volume from an accurate level here. Let's grab that volume profile tool, pull our range from the left to the right, and here is the level. We have tapped it to the dollar, guys. The level is here between about 21.4 and 21.6, depending on what exchange you're looking at. It is the value area high of our macro range. You have your value area low down here. You have your value area high up here. And if we get below this value area high, same thing as this range, we will treat this as a value area, as it is. It is a value area. That's why we're going to treat it that way. But if we go ahead and break below this value area high, this is where I lose my bullish sentiment for more than one reason, right? So let's say price breaks down, right, below the value area high. We bearishly retest. We cannot get back above it. Banging our head, banging our head. This is where it is likely that we will get accepted back into this area of balance inside the value area, and it will be more likely for us to revisit our point of control at $16,800, and then at that point, it's going to be more likely for us to revisit the value area low or the range lows of this value area at about $15,950. So this is a key level. Not only that, but once we break this level decisively, we will be losing bullish market structure on the higher time frames, and it does look like it is starting to happen. So unless this is a situation where we just get a little wick down and then we come back up and start closing our candles up, that would be the only way out of this situation. But once we break this level decisively, guys, that is where we lose that bullish market structure on the higher time frames. That is where we get stuck underneath the value area high, and we will get accepted back into this area of balance. And we know once you get back into the value area and you can't get above the value area high, it is much more likely to get a move down to your value area low of that range. And before I let you guys go, I'm going to just pull up that VRVP, or VPVR as I like to call it, real quick to give you a little bit more context into what we're looking at here, right? And I've showed this for a while. You guys will know, and it's kind of the same situation we were in right here. As we were holding, let me go, actually, I'm going to keep this time frame, right? As we were holding the point of control, right? You can't make this up, guys. This is why the volume profiles are so dang powerful. We were holding this value area high, this POC at $23,000 even, right here. As we were holding this level, we were saying, if we lose this level decisively, it will be very likely to get a move down to this $21,800, $21,700 area. And the reason we were looking for it was because what do we have? You have the high volume node from the POC, and then you have your next high volume node or cluster of high volume nodes right here. And what is in between? A massive volume gap. This is why we were calling for this level. This is how we knew that it would be likely to come down to these levels. But we were hoping for some more bullish signals at these levels to get that move up, which we did actually start to print, and we even confirmed it on the 4-hour, but it did just get invalidated, making it a little less likely to get that strong bounce. But again, I'm not going full bear until we actually crack the level at $21,500, and we decisively start closing 4-hour candles, multiple 4-hour candles below this level. And then after that, guys, the most important level, once we're back in this value area, once we get back in this range, if we do, The most important level is going to be the high volume node between 19.5 and 19.2, right? So $19,500 is right here. Whoops. $19,500 is going to be right here. And this is important not only because you have the high volume node, but you also have a CME gap here as well, right? So we may come down and fill that CME gap. But if we don't get a strong bounce back to the top of the range off of this high volume node, guys, look at the gap underneath us. And if you watch my show all the time, you will know that we looked at this gap on the way up. When we were down here, we were saying, hey, if we crack these highs, if we crack this high we made here, we're probably going to moon through this low volume gap up to the $19,500 level and potentially even higher, which is exactly what happened, right? So we would expect the same thing. We may grind our way down here, but if we lose this level, it's probably going to be a teleportation down to that $17,000 level, which is right where we have our point of control. And then at that point, you're expecting the range lows as well. But again, that 19.2, 19.5 level is important because you have the CME gap, and it is the end of that high volume node or the beginning of that low volume gap, which, you know, once we break into that gap, just like we got this quick move up and this quick move down through this gap, we are likely to see the exact same thing if we break this level again. So guys, definitely looking a little bit more bearish in the short term as of right now. I wish I could stay on a little bit longer, guys, but I do have to get out of here to get to this book signing. But with all that being said, guys, that's all the time I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see what we got on likes. We will spin the wheel tomorrow, guys, because I don't have any time. Oh, guys, if you run this up to 1,250 likes before the end of the stream, I will give away 1 month of free premium live stream subscriptions. I said that weird. I will give away 1 premium Discord subscription if we hit that 1,250 like goal before the stream ends. Not after I pull up the music, but before the live stream actually ends. So smash that like button on your way out, CandleMafia, and any of the pattern watchers still in here, guys. Hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and I will see you guys on Tino's stream, hopefully sometime soon. And with all that being said, guys, now that's all I got for tonight's live stream. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Same place, same time, 5:45 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right after ATB. Shout out to my boy DZ. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. That was a weird bing bong. That's all I got. Frankie Candles out. Bing bong. You guys thought you weren't getting... Oh, Mrs. Candles almost ran on screen here. You guys thought you weren't getting a Frankie fake out. But listen, guys, I'm going to be on. Can I be honest with you guys? Oh, we got Mrs. Candles' elbow. Hey, you guys never saw her elbow. Hey, look at that. That's a nice elbow. Anyway, guys, I'm going to say it. I'm jealous of Tino's accent. Tino's got, like, the coolest accent ever. And I'm just stuck here with, like, I don't even have that much of a New York accent, to be honest. When I'm around my New York friends, I might start talking a little bit more New York. You know, me and Tony get into an argument in the office. People will think that a bunch of mobsters are taking over the office. But he's got such a cool accent, man. It's so classy and edgy and cool. And I don't know. I'm just stuck here with this weird mishmash of Southern and New York accents. All right, guys. Well, I'll see you next time. Mrs. Candles is pulling me off the set. I love you. Hasta pasta. Frankie Candles out. Bing, bang.
Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos. Tyler Ramos.